Fulsome Abiding with Ministries. Tonight I want to start maybe just a one episode discussion, even though it might become two episodes. I want us to discuss something I entitled Wrong and Dangerous Assumptions. Wrong assumptions and dangerous assumptions. We all know in life that quite a bit of what we do, believe, approve, or approve of is based on a lot of assumptions. I think to a large extent, a greater percentage of our assumptions in life are right. But like with everything else, sometimes it's the exception that makes the rule shaky. And so, if there are 10 things that are given to you, and 8 of them are things you must do, and 2 of them are things you mustn't do, chances are nobody is going to watch out for the 8. Most people are going to watch out for the 2, either because they are hell-bent on seeing you fail, you fall, you make a mistake. And so assumptions are like that. We have good assumptions and we have wrong assumptions and very dangerous ones too. The good and general assumptions can be based on a wide variety of issues. Okay? A lot of us assume, rightly so or wrongly so, that when we sleep at night, we will wake up the next morning. There are communities that assume, rightly so, that there will be water, there will be electricity. There are communities that cannot fathom or imagine their life without them seeing water in their tap, or the microwave working, or the coffee maker operating, or the bus or the subway, or their ATM cards in the bank and all that. So there are people who live lives based on those assumptions. So somebody tells you, look, meet me at this bank, meet me at this restaurant, we'll meet at this corner Tuesday at 5 p.m. And they have made an assumption because everything ought to be working. The plane that should take them should fly, they'll clear their luggage, the bus that should take them there, everybody will be there. Some assumptions are also made based on what we have on the ground. And so it's a very vast topic. I don't want to presume that I can handle everything. But as usual, in discovering truth, we uncover truth and ask ourselves to discuss, to confront ourselves, to ask questions. When we assume wrongly, of course, there will be consequences. When we make even dangerous assumptions, my mind goes to situations where people tell you that you can go on safari, you can go to a game reserve, and the animals, the lions, the zebras, the wild animals are just walking, and they tell you just, okay, if you don't harass them, they won't harass you. Some you can feed them. Sometimes they even tell you they have been domesticated. But I think you all know, like I know, that some of the tragedies that we see come from animals that were supposedly domesticated because some assumptions were made. Sometimes people assume that they closed the door, but they didn't close the door. Sometimes people assume that people are their friends, but they're not their friends. We live in a world where we got to check everything. We got to double check everything. We got to seek different opinions, seek advice before we make some assumptions. And also, Because we live in a world where I cannot say I know everything that's happening in the world or in my country or even in my community, in my office, maybe even in my church. And so the truth is that the totality of any one of us' lives has other people's participation and involvement and has factors, occurrences, stimuli, interferences, interventions that are outside of the power of our control. But at our creation, God gave us free will. He gave us the power of choice, and he gave us a morally guiding conscience. And anytime we lose those three together, then it's a sad state of affairs for man. A man or a woman without their conscience is probably an animal. A man or a woman without the free will has been emasculated and enslaved. A man or a woman without the power of choice will be left to accept anything and be grateful for what they have. So because God gave us individual free will, a moral conscience that came before any kind of law, and gave us the power of choice, then we must be able, in the day and age in which we live, with the plethora of information, you can Google anything and get anything, anywhere, then it means that we must minimize as much as possible the assumptions we make in life, especially when they are wrong and when they are dangerous. The decisions we make and the lifestyle we live based on assumptions would not be looked upon in mercy, because we could have made them the other way. Tonight I want to read 13 verses from the Bible, from Matthew's Gospel, the first Gospel in the New Testament, the Injil, Matthew's Gospel, and chapter 25. And there is a story that Jesus Christ likened our life and our eternity unto. And for those who are familiar with it, it's the parable of the 10 virgins. If you're familiar with the Bible or you've come across it, it's a parable, a story Jesus Christ told, narrating mankind and what would happen, not based on our genuineness, not based on our sincerity, but based on the wrong assumptions we made that brought a dangerous end to people's lives. So let me read, for those of you who have never heard this, let me read from Matthew's Gospel, chapter 25, from verse 1 to verse 13. Jesus Christ is speaking, the Messiah. He says, "Then the kingdom of heaven shall be likened to 10 virgins who took their lamps and went out to meet the bridegroom." So they had gone for a wedding party, and there was no nawek, there was no electricity in those days. They had like the lamp, the hurricane lamp, or the small Aladdin Arabian Mediterranean lamp. And so 10 of them went to meet this bridegroom. Verse 2 says, 5 of them were wise virgins, and the other 5 were foolish. So the LCM here is that they are virgins. And however you define virgin, virgin land, virgin territory, virgin area of business, a virgin boy, a virgin girl, it means untouched, unspoiled, untampered with,